people deal with the distress of climate change?
Well, I'm going to share 3 really useful coping strategies that people use to deal with the threat of climate change. They're called emotion-focused coping and problem-focused coping and meaning-focused coping. But first, I just wanted to say why it's important that we understand how people are coping with climate change. Because climate change is very real and very frightening, and it's really normal to feel a whole lot of very uncomfortable and painful feelings about it, like guilt and shame and anger and grief and anxiety and dread and helplessness and hopelessness. These are real and rational and appropriate and deserved feelings, and they're there for a reason, because they motivate us to react. They require us to come to terms with the reality of climate change and to actually do something about it. So what people do with those feelings is really important. And of course, people can react in a whole lot of really unhelpful ways by avoiding the problem or minimizing or blaming other people. But there are actually some very effective ways that people can stay engaged with the problem. So I'll just briefly go through them all. So emotion-focused coping strategies are the things that we do to manage the emotions or the uncomfortable, painful feelings. So that might be things like talking with other people about how we're feeling, expressing our feelings, having a cry if we need to, finding some art, moving our body, being out in nature, those sorts of things. And then there are problem-focused coping strategies, which are the things that we do to alter the problem that is causing the stress. So in this case, the excess carbon emissions. And we do things with our arms and our legs and our mouths. So these are the practical action-based things that we can do. And it helps to think about things that you can do at an individual level, also the things that you can do at a societal level. So individual level might be, switching out your car for your bike or public transport. The societal level things might be joining protests, ringing politicians, going and visiting politicians, writing to decision makers. And it can also help to think about the difference between things that you do by yourself and things that you do with a group. Because of course, when you work with a group, you get the benefit of the solidarity of being with other like-minded people, which is very protective for our emotional health and well-being, plus your message and your impact can be multiplied. And then the third type is the meaning-focused coping strategy. So these are the things that we do with our thinking to change how we're thinking about the climate change problem so that we feel more able to cope with it or manage it. And so that might be looking at all the other millions of people around the world that are also doing something about climate change, or looking at how wicked problems in the past have been solved, like the end of apartheid or the end of slavery or getting the women the vote or gay rights. And lastly, by thinking about all of the positives that could come of a zero carbon world. So thinking about the benefits to our health of eating less meat and having more active forms of transport, and the benefits that can come from being more closely connected in communities, from sharing resources better, and from using our imagination to be able to solve the problem of climate change, because that's what's required. We can't use our same thinking to get out of the problem that we got into the problem with. So my takeaways would be, it's normal to feel really bad when you think about climate crisis, but these feelings are there for a reason. It's important in the first instance to make room for those feelings and accept those feelings, and to then find ways of being able to cope with this discomfort and these uncomfortable feelings by using a combination of emotion, problem-focused and meaning-focused coping strategies.